Autumn-like temperatures are here, but it was a pretty busy opening week for a golf course, a record-breaking season for the Levitt, and can a proposed prison get 2/3 of the support it needs? This is Inside the Newsroom, and I'm your host, Maddie Paul. Inside the Newsroom, we bring you the trending stories of the KELOLAND area, and the best part is we bring in our newsroom staff members to talk about the stories that they create every day on our newscasts and online at KELOLAND.com. Let's start off with the hard-hitting news. The thing that everybody needs to be talking about right now, Scott.
Yes.
Autumn-like weather.
Where's your blanket?
I actually have my sweatshirt's here today.
Sweatshirt.
The blanket's in the wash.
No blanket.
The blanket's in the wash.
Well, it's good. You gotta keep things clean.
Yes, exactly. I think I need a new blanket too, like an orange one or something, to really fit into this festive fall season, because this is where we're at now.
I thought you were going to say a thicker blanket.
Ooh, I would love that too. A little wool. No, that's too winter.
Electric? Do you have an electric blanket?
I do. There's one at my desk. I should bring it over. Maybe I could plug it in here somewhere. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's here.
I don't know. We got a lot of cords here. We don't want to overload.
More cords coming in. Scott, it's feeling like fall.
Yeah.
But it's still summer.
About as it should. You know, we are in meteorological fall. That's always a hard word for me to say.
It's hard for me to spell.
Meteorological fall. That starts September 1st and lasts through November. Okay. So, they go 3 months at a time when you look at fall, winter, spring, summer.
Okay.
Try to break it down as easy as we can in weather. But astronomical fall starts not October, September 22nd, I think.
Or 3rd, something like that, right?
Yeah, it's usually around the 21st, give or take.
Okay.
So, but in the meteorology world, this is my profession. I can barely say the word. We're in fall, and it's feeling like it too, isn't it?
Yeah.
We fell to the 30s, 40s, even some frost reported in Clear Lake this morning.
F word.
Yes, that's one of them.
Bringing it. Where was it in? What'd you say?
Clear Lake.
Clear Lake.
Near the Watertown area. Mm-hmm.
See, and I overheard you and Brian talking about this a little bit I think you talk about this on whether or not you can correct me, but just how interesting it always is to talk about frost this time of year, because you really want to get into viewers' heads to start planning ahead for their gardens or anything like that.
Right, especially when we have, the possibility of these temperatures falling to the 30s and even frost, that when we put a forecast together this time of year, early September, it's always better to forecast maybe a little bit lower than what the computer models are showing us, just in case we do bottom out with some of these temperatures. We want to at least get it in people's minds that, yes, we can quickly cool this time of year. And if you're a gardener, you have, want some of your plants to stick around, your flowers to stick around, and you see us forecasting the possibility of seeing these temperatures in the 30s, then take the necessary precautions and get those things covered, or bring them into the house if you can, some of those potted plants.
Well, are you projecting pretty low for this weekend?
This weekend? No, I think so. I don't think you'll be happy with me come Monday. Temperatures will probably fall to the 30s, 40s, depending on where you're at. On Saturday morning, excuse me, I hit the mic. On Saturday, get all excited. Yeah. 30s Saturday morning in western South Dakota, and then that will eventually move into eastern South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa for Sunday morning.
Okay.
With a chance to see those numbers in the 30s. Could be a little more widespread than some of the 30s that we had this morning. So as we go through the weekend, just keep that in mind. But you know what? It won't last. We'll return to more Maddie-like weather as we get into next week.
Sigh. I'm kind of adopting some autumn activities, though, because of this weather.
Now it's going to be too warm for you.
Maybe.
As we get into next week.
I'll adapt. I will evolve. I think that's just how it is. Here's a first that I'm doing this year. I've never done this before. Can you guess what it is? Something autumn related. It's an activity.
I want to say you're going to go to the pumpkin patch or pick apples, or am I close? Anywhere close?
Well, think sports activities, autumn activities.
Autumn.
And this is the first time this year I'm ever doing this.
Well, I know we mentioned golf before.
I know. I do want to keep practicing my swing, and Summer Rada Shot will be on pretty soon to talk about a golf course. But
pickleball?
Pickleball I've actually never done. I do play tennis. We talked about this already. But not that activity.
What am I doing in the fall? Hayride.
That's a good one.
You got to powder your nose. You're doing this. What are you doing?
This is thinking, right?
Yeah. No, it's Winnie the Pooh.
It's fantasy football.
You're doing fantasy football?
Yes.
Are you really?
I drafted my first team last night.
Well, good for you. Who was your first pick?
Well, okay, I was there was 8 people in my league. Is that what you call it?
Yes.
Okay, there's
you're
8
gonna
people.
You're going to do great.
And I was the 8th pick.
Well, that's all right.
No, it wasn't, because they took all of the players that I wanted right off the bat. I at least wanted Justin Jefferson from the Vikings as my right receiver.
Yeah, I can see why.
Didn't get him.
Yep.
He was like the 3rd pick, and I was like, boo.
Maybe those first 7 picks will end up getting hurt.
Do I want that?
No,
like,
nobody wants that. Maybe I should not.
I want my team to do really well, but I don't know if I want something like that. So I got to think, who did I pick off the top of my head? Because at first,
you don't remember your first pick?
No, because it was somebody I didn't recognize. Because I was gonna go for all the names I recognized, and then I was only gonna do the cuties, like who was a cute football player.
Okay.
And so I did a rookie mistake, and I think it was my 2nd pick. I picked a quarterback, and I know you're supposed to kind of wait to pick one. I know I got Josh Allen in there.
You did?
Yes.
Good for you.
Yes, but it's because I picked him early, and then everybody picked quarterbacks later, and then I think Joe Burrow's on my bench. But
okay, yeah,
that's all.
I've never done fantasy football.
No,
I just think it'll take too much of my time.
I beat you to it. Well, I know
and then I would be,
tonight.
I would get upset with myself if I picked the wrong people or they don't do well. And then I would spend too much time watching them on Sundays when I should be doing other stuff.
See, and I'm very competitive, so I think this will really get me into NFL, into football.
Well, do you have anybody playing tonight?
I do. I think it's what's Josh Allen's team?
Bills.
The Bills. I think they're playing tonight.
No,
yes, they are. Yes, they are. I'm going to look this up right now. Who's playing tonight?
Philadelphia and
NFL,
Dallas.
who's playing? Let's see.
NFL, who's playing? Unless there are 2 games.
Oh, you're right. Okay, Dallas and Philadelphia. Yeah. Okay, well, somebody on my team is playing tonight. I don't know who. Okay, I'm going to have to look that up later. Maybe tomorrow when you're back on, Scott, I'll have a list I could show you, and then you can judge it. Everyone can judge my list because this is my first draft, okay?
No judgment zone.
Good. Okay, thank you for saying that.
Okay.
I know at least one of my players is suspended right now.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to drop that pick out pretty soon.
Did you pick them, and then everybody goes, they can't play?
Yes, something like that. It told me, too. It was like, are you sure you want this guy? Like, they're suspended right now. And I was like, yeah, they're cute.
The cute factor. The cuteness factor.
Well, this weekend will be very cute.
Must be hard for you to go into a pet store.
Don't even get me started on that. I grew up in a family where if we went to the Humane Society, we would bring an animal home. So I grew up with 6 pets. And I would absolutely, if I had like a house and a very stable living situation, oh yeah, I would be decked out with pets.
Well, thanks again for pet sitting for us when you did.
I know,
and
I love
for leaving the
Simon
pets
Cooper.
at our house.
You're welcome. That was difficult because now I want a dog. I want a dog so bad. I gotta do the rest of my show,
okay.
Scott. I could
All right.
just ramble with you forever. All right, let's get back into Inside the Newsroom, everybody, and get out of the head of fantasy sports and more in the idea of what's trending in KELOLAND. One of our reporters asked state lawmakers, can a proposed South Dakota prison get 2/3 of the support that it needs? We're going to find out after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. In the news of Kelly Wasco resigning as the secretary for South Dakota's Department of Corrections, Dan Santella asked lawmakers if they think a new men's prison can finally become a reality. Here's what they had to say.
When asked about Wasco's resignation, here's what Democrat Jamie Smith and Republicans Kevin Jensen, Greg Jamieson, and Jack Kolbeck had to say.
I am a little bit surprised. She and the administration have been 100% on this project for a long time.
Not a big surprise, really. I think she's been under a lot of pressure for a while. Clearly some of that came out in our task force meetings and the public input.
I think it's timely. I think right now we're at a crossroads with the whole Department of Corrections and with the building of a new prison.
The Project Prison Reset Task Force has recommended a new 1,500-bed men's prison with a maximum cost of $650 million, and the state has agreed to buy land in northeast Sioux Falls for the new facility.
Kelly and we had worked together very well. I was in appropriations, and she was in front of our appropriations committee a lot of times. I was disappointed.
I think the undercurrent has been for the last few months, a lot of legislators have been saying, well, if she resigns, I'll vote for the prison.
Fast approaching is a special session in Pierre at which legislators will vote on a proposed new men's prison in Sioux Falls. For that to get across the finish line, it needs 2/3 support in both the House and Senate. So I asked these lawmakers today if they think the votes are there.
It's still a tough task at this moment. I met with some legislators yesterday, and there's some basic elementary pieces of this whole project that they don't understand yet.
My caucus does have concerns, and some of our concerns are what does it look like moving forward?
Colbeck is a clear yes, but Jensen is a resolute no. With 35 senators and 70 members of the House, the proposal needs at least 24 supporters in the Senate and 47 in the House.
We found a location, we've got a budget, we've got a plan, we've got what everybody kind of asked for.
I don't think we're there yet, especially now. I really think that this move probably raised more questions, even with some people that were maybe for the prison.
And Dan Santella joins us now at the digital desk. Dan, this is a very important story right now. As you know, Wasco's resignation is a developing story along with this prison planning process. So for you in this specific piece, why was it important to grab as many lawmakers as you could for both their reaction and then also their input?
Well, there's, we have more than 100 lawmakers in South Dakota when the chambers are full. There's 105 total. 30 in the Senate. No, sorry, 35 in the Senate, 70 in the House. So you just, to get any sort of temperature of body, you have to talk to as many as you reasonably can. For a broadcast piece, we have to get them on camera. I wanted to get around 4 if I could, and I was able to. You want to survey all those. There's a lot of different opinions, and something about this story as well. Some issues, it's like, okay, Republicans see it one way, Democrats see it the other. That's not quite the way it is with this story. It's not divided along the traditional partisan lines.
Right. And for me, watching this, your piece was very easy to understand. It almost felt relatable, like your style of questions that you asked.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and your stand-up, your voiceover, it was just very easy to understand. So as you have been following this prison planning process for so long now, what elements do you like to stick out for viewers to really understand?
Well, I think a natural question for someone watching or reading this is like, okay, are we going to get a new men's prison?
Yes.
Right? We answered the question of where it could be. It was originally going to be maybe in Lincoln County. Well, that didn't come to fruition. Now it's proposed to be in Sioux Falls, in Minnehaha County. Okay, so we're going to vote on it, right? Yes. Okay, so they just got to get 50% or 50, a little majority. No. It's appropriation of money, so it requires 2/3. So that is the magic fraction, right? Not necessarily the magic number. So it's going to need 24 senators supporting it and 47 members of the House. Could be, as you just heard from Senator Jensen of the Canton area, could be a big ask, right? And 2/3 is just to get any group of people to agree on something at a 2/3 ratio is difficult, right? And so I wanted to zero in on that because I think that's the common question for Joe Q. Public and Jane Q. Public. Are we going to get a new men's prison? Well, it looks like we will if that 2/3 threshold can be reached in both the House and Senate. And I think it's important too that, let's say, for example, if 28 senators approved, okay, great, that's well over 2/3. You still got to hit that hurdle in the House as well.
Mm-hmm. So. And I love your headline because your headline is the question: can the South Dakota prison get the 2/3 support it needs?
Yeah.
Well, Dan, after your story, do we have a simple answer?
We do not. It remains to be seen, and this story will continue to evolve and take different changes and have different updates in the next 19 days until the date of the special session. So it's unclear if the lawmakers can come to that 2/3 agreement.
Right. And tonight you're kind of still keeping on this track with the prison. What are you working on tonight?
Governor Leah Roden has released draft legislation of what the lawmakers will actually be voting on come September 23rd in Pierre. So I'm taking a little closer look at that and just looking ahead to when they'll get there and cast votes on it. We saw well earlier in 2025 they voted on prospective men's prison in Lincoln County and that failed. And so now they're doing it again in Minnehaha County and Sioux Falls. So.
We'll look forward to that piece. Thank you so much for being here, Dan. And everyone, stick around because up next, we're shifting gears a little bit. Let's go back into autumn-like activities. In fact, let's go over to a new golf club and see what's going on over there. Stay with us. Summer Roddershot joining us after the break. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. The newest golf course in Sioux Falls has been open for less than a week. So Summer Roddershot went out to just check in and see how the first few days were going.
It's been a busy few days for the Mapleton Golf Club staff following Saturday's grand opening.
It was lots of member excitement. We did just have members and immediate family out at the club, so it was great to see them all get to enjoy it with some of their closest people in their lives.
It worked to their advantage to have the opening on Labor Day weekend.
The really cool thing was there was a huge buzz within the membership. So even though they were out of town, their buddies were texting them how awesome Mapleton was, and so there was a little bit of FOMO there for sure. So they're going to make their way out here certainly this week and play some golf.
While the weather is starting to get a little bit cooler, the golf course thinks it's going to stay busy.
Normally golf it's the best in the fall. It really, really is. The greens are in the best shape. The weather's really conducive. It is a great time. So I think we're going to get a lot of action because we still have a lot of members that haven't played the golf course yet.
The new golf course will let people practice their swings during the cooler months for as long as they can.
It'll be weather dependent. Obviously being a new golf course, we'll watch the wear and tear on the golf course as well. If we notice that, anything, adverse is coming up with effects like that, just from play, we might say, hey, we'll close it down a little earlier. But at the same time, being new, we want the members to enjoy this for as long as possible.
Well, we're swinging back over to the digital desk now because Summer Roddershot, come on, we got to talk more about this fun story, Summer. Well, one thing about this story that kind of was interesting to me, now that I play golf, I mentioned this on Tuesday when I came back, I played golf just at Great Shots, so now I know how to swing a club.
I still can't do that.
We'll find a way. We'll get there. But one thing that excites me is, as a beginner, I thought golf was a spring-summer sport.
I know.
And so them opening a new course at this time, like Labor Day weekend, and then they expect more people to come in for fall, I just feel like it's so different. Was that the vibe that you were getting? Because they seem very confident.
No, because I was definitely like, I feel like this is a little late in the year, to be opening a golf course. Granted, I don't golf at all because I can't hit the ball. But, I think, I always think I see people, and they have their summer classics and all that stuff happens in the summer, like all these different golf tournaments. And, you always see people in the shorts and the polos, And so for them to be actually, fall golf is some of the best golf. They almost prefer it. And I get it because honestly, I don't like sweating. So, it's in the summer you have all the hot weather. They said also, during that fall time, it's a little less inclement. In the spring you have some more of the storms and that type of thing. Whereas the fall, they said is at least a little bit quieter. So yeah, they expect it to be busy because Scott was talking about meteorological fall.
You said that's so good.
I'm pretty sure I just messed it up entirely. Thank you. Confidence is key.
It's key. But yeah, he's just talking about
the start of the meteorological fall. Yeah. So and that happening right on that Labor Day. But yep, they're confident that people are gonna keep on coming during the fall. So
I'm surprised your stand up wasn't you trying a swing.
It would have been so sad, Maddie. I'm going to be honest. I don't think my photographer probably would have gotten so frustrated with me because they're like, she can't hit the ball. She can't hit it. So probably a good thing I did not do that.
You should have learned from the owners over there. Nathan seemed like he was pretty cool, he seemed very confident. Again, the confidence that we're rating off the two people that you talked to were just that made it fun. The story that's already talking about activity and things you can do. Just a lot of fun over there. What was it like when you were at the golf course? Was it kind of popping or?
For being a Wednesday morning, there was quite a few people there. It was popping. Obviously, some people did have to go back to work. But, there were some people there. And I think the coolest thing about talking with the guys that we talked with is they just know so much about golf. They live and they breathe golf. And so when they're talking about it, they're so passionate about it. And they know that fall golf is sometimes the better golf, and, sort of just the reasoning that why they opened on Labor Day weekend, to give people that extra time, it's like, oh, it's the long weekend. So if you can't make it at the beginning of the weekend, you can make it at the end of the weekend. If you can't make it at the end of the weekend, you can make it at the beginning, like there was, some time during that weekend where the people that wanted to make it out there could make it to the golf course.
I got to see it now that I'm a golfer.
I know. Yeah, seriously.
Now that I can swing.
You can actually appreciate it. I'm like, I wish.
Okay, maybe that's not your activity, but you said you're doing fantasy.
I am doing
right?
fantasy football. Yeah.
See, that's exciting to me because this is my first year. Is this your first year?
I did it in college a little bit, but this is my first year. I'm doing it with my fiance's family, so I'm doing it with all boys. So before I was always doing it against all girls. And so I kid you not, I researched. I was like, okay, who are the best running backs? Like what running backs to avoid?
What is a running back?
Pretty much, literally.
That's me.
So I had to do all my research because we're not betting for it, but I'm against all boys this year. So I need to step up my game.
No, that's tough. Because have you already drafted your team and everything?
Yep, we drafted on Sunday.
See, so. I've heard that with some boys teams, it can get a little extreme, you know, if you don't get your pick. And so I'm like, ooh, I get scared for that. So I'm with an all-girls league this year. I'm learning.
Who did you say, is it your first year?
It's my first year,
okay, awesome.
So never done fantasy before. I just got into football and now golf. But now football for sure last year, which is whatever. Like football is a sport for me where I learn it as it's happening, and then I just forget about it the next year. But I feel like golf, going back to golf.
Oh yeah, we're here for golf.
That one I can learn because I learned how to. You hold the club. This is how I was taught. You take your pinky and your index finger and you put it together, and that's how you hold it. But Scott Mundt was telling me he just does one on top of the other.
That's just because he's really good at it.
Oh yeah, he's so good at it.
We can't all be Scott Mundt, unfortunately.
Well, how about this, Summer? Is there anything else you'd like to share about your Mapleton golf course story?
Just, I went out there, because we did an original story with them, but they've actually sold out of their single and national memberships, but they do still have some corporate ones left. So if you're interested in it, there is a wait list for some of them, but if you might still be able to squeeze in on the corporate if you're interested in that. So,
well, I feel like you're still having some fun with your story coming up tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about what you have on the docket?
Yeah, so I am previewing the Sidewalk Arts Festival. It's the 62nd annual one. It takes place outside the Washington Pavilion. There's going to be 280 vendors, a little bit more there. So all this different type of art, you got jewelry, you got ceramics, you got some paper art, and then there's also going to be some nonprofits, talking to people about their stuff and some entertainment and some food. And so it's really just going to have a little bit of everything. And I talked to an organizer, and then I also talked to one of the vendors.
Oh, right.
One of Say Anything Jewelry. They do some of that permanent jewelry,
nice.
Which I think is so fun. So yeah, it should be a pretty exciting time.
Awesome. Well, Summer, thank you so much for sharing all these
Maddie.
details right here and about your fantasy team. I needed to know about that. Now my confidence is up. And everyone stick around because up next on Inside the Newsroom, we're looking at the Levitt at the Falls and we're looking at their record-breaking season. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Inside the Newsroom. The Levitt at the Falls is celebrating a record-breaking season, and Kelly Vogt has all those details.
More than 120,300 people participated in Levitt programming this summer. The estimated number includes concerts, festivals, and outreach events. Levitt at the Falls president and CEO Nancy Halverson says a season with no weather cancellations certainly helped the numbers, but there's more to it than that. Halverson says people are discovering downtown.
When we first started our programming, we would hear a lot of times, oh, I don't go downtown. I don't know where to go. I don't know where to park. I think that people are getting more comfortable.
This year's average concert attendance was more than 2,300. Brûlé drew the biggest crowds of the season with nearly 15,000 people over 2 nights. The Lodge Bar and Grill at the nearby Jacobson Plaza opened in late April and experienced its first Levitt season.
And we saw, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, business picked up here. And as we started live streaming Levitt in here, we started having more and more people come over here, enjoy the beginning of the show, then have dinner and head on over after that.
With the 2025 season in the books,
we're really so filled with gratitude to our community.
It's going to be a great season for the music. And now that it's over, Kelly, you joining me here at the digital desk, I'm sure you had a lot of data to go through for this story to do this. So as you did your research and as you did your interviews, what were kind of the highlights that stood out to you?
Well, certainly the record-breaking number of people that enjoyed the Levitt's programming. And that's not just the people who come there for the concerts that you think of when you go to the Levitt. That also counts people who came to their festivals. They had 4 festivals this summer. And then also their outreach program. One of those programs is a camp that they do for kids called Jam Camp. And they bring artists in and they work with the kids in different genres. So, yeah.
A lot of great highlights. And it's weird to think that we won't hear that music from the Levitt anymore and that the season's really over. It just feels like, oh, out goes summer, here comes fall. But were you able to make any of the festivals or concerts at the Levitt?
I went to one this summer. I went to a country artist, and it was pretty good. The weather was great. It wasn't too crowded, and my friend and I just enjoyed an evening of music. It was nice.
I think that was another number that I saw when we got the initial news release was they didn't really have to cancel anything because weather was in their favor this year. What's your favorite kind of concert music? Is it the country?
I would say so. Yeah. What about you?
I love rock.
Oh,
if you give me some rock, something to like bang my head to a little bit, but I have to sing along, right? You have to. I have to be up. I'm not the type of person that wants to sit in my chair and listen. Like I'm going to want to be like up and moving around. That's the kind of music I need. Oh, I don't know about moshing. Could you imagine? I don't think I'm a mosher.
No, I don't think you are.
I don't know if anyone in here would be a mosher. Maybe Anna Peters. Can you imagine her doing something like that?
I cannot.
Well, I liked in this story that you added a business to this perspective of a record-breaking season, and that was the Lodge. And why did you want their perspective to be a part of this piece?
Well, it just gives a new perspective, like you mentioned. It's, of course, we want to hear from the Levitt because that's what this story is about. But the Levitt has a big impact on the surrounding businesses. You know, people are going in there before the show and eating, or maybe they're going in after the show. So it does bring increased traffic to these businesses, and I just wanted to talk to one and find out what that impact really is.
Right, especially because they're right there next to the Levitt too. Is there anything else that you'd like viewers to know about your story, Kelly?
No, I guess we all just look forward to next summer's lineup.
Oh, can't wait to hear about that. Kelly, thank you so much for these details. And everyone, that's all the time that we have for Inside the Newsroom. Thank you so much for watching, and stick around for tomorrow, okay? Friday. We're going to end the week on strong notes, right? So we'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock right here on KELOLAND Plus. And until then, have a great day, everyone.